Hey guys, it's Corey from the OverLook, where we go over the books you may have overlooked. Today, we are going over part 2 of the origin of how Otto Octavius and Norman Osborn transformed from rivals with similar interests to mortal enemies. Like I said before, part 3 will be the final part of the whole Superior Spider-Man saga, so I think it's best for a couple videos down the line. Anyway, I like this part, so I hope you do too. The thing about crazy is it rears its head whenever it wants. The doctor is flung off his feet, across the room, and slams into the wall. He's not used to crazy. He works in absolutes, percentages. His calculations are precise. His issues, if you can call them that, are more obsession-based. He wipes the blood from his lip, and within an instant, his tendrils are jetting towards the goblin. One of his arms grabs the goblin by his skull and lifts him into the air. The goblin responds by grabbing on one of the doctor's other metallic arms and uses it as a conduit to channel an electric attack. The doctor's arms then react for him, flinging the goblin in the opposite direction. The goblin slams into the bookcase across the room, and dozens of bound testaments topple to the floor. He then scrambles to his feet and tosses one of his razor rings back at the doctor. It misses, and this piques the goblin's anger. He then decides to pull out a pumpkin bomb and ignites it. "Norman, don't!" the doctor yells as he raises his palms in defense. "The destruction of Spider-Man! Let's not waste our energy on each other!" The doctor should have dissolved this partnership right then and there. But he knew even the most perfect formula needs a spark. And just as quickly as it appears, crazy disappears. "You're right," he mumbles, defusing the bomb. "Plus, this skirmish has convinced me I obviously need more time to recover." It took a while, but Otto was finally able to bring Norman around to his side. It would be a combination of Otto's scientific genius and Norman's determination that would bring about Spider-Man's ultimate demise. So they waited for the perfect time to strike. Spider-Man had a busy few months, fighting spider slayers, the Scorpion, and then the gooey alien named Venom. Only now he was red. Maybe it was a different alien, but who cares? Otto can't waste his time keeping up with these amateurs. The point was, Spider-Man was about to be reintroduced to his most superior adversaries. Truly, Otto and Norman were a dastardly combination. Together, they found a way to transfer Otto's extra appendages to Norman, in turn creating the Octo-Goblin. And Otto admits, seeing his work come to fruition, and seeing it on Norman like that, he felt, well, he doesn't have the words for it, and assumes it's the feeling of whatever the opposite of jealousy is. Anyway, Norman was right. The Sinister Six were more like second-rate henchmen, Otto's minions, if you will. But now, Otto has an equal, someone he felt worthy of his time and intellect, and it felt right. Otto returned to America and worked out arrangements. The weeks of planning were finally coming together, and he was excited as a kid on science fair morning. Then, he got the phone call. "Hello?" Otto answers as he sits alone, playing chess in a small motel room. "It's time," says a familiar voice. What are you talking about? You're a week early.
Just meet me at the hospital.
The hospital? Why? What happened? Are you okay?
I'm fine. Everything is good. I just thought this would work better.
What would work better? What are you talking about? Is the equipment all right?
Yes, the equipment is all right. Stop being so attached to your stupid work. I bet you answered the phone with those fucking arms, didn't you?
No. Otto mumbled, obviously lying.
Well, you need to be more spontaneous. Just meet me. Something is about to happen which will get our spider's attention.
When the doctor arrives at the hospital, the goblin is in the process of removing his suit jacket. What are we doing here? The doctor asks.
Change of plans.
The goblin gleams. No change of plans. We stick to the plan.
I know. You're probably right. But I have to be honest. I haven't felt completely right since our whole soul versus science argument.
Are you kidding me? The doctor huffs.
It's just deep down, I know I'm right. I believe a man can come back from a wound. Hell, I'm proof of it. But can he come back from a broken soul?
The doctor takes a step backwards. Norman, now is not the time to drudge this up. We've worked.
You're right. But then I realized I can't get mad at you for having an opinion. Because you've never experienced the pain I'm talking about.
Once again, the doctor takes a step backwards and raises his hands in a slight defense. Let's call it off. Call the whole thing off until...
We can't call it off. It's too late for that.
No, it's not. We'll simply wait a few weeks.
Otto!
We'll regroup and then we can...
Otto!
The doctor pauses and watches as a sinister sneer spreads across the goblin's face.
I found Mary Alice.
You what? The goblin, still grinning, starts to put on his mask.
I found your fiancé. Sorry, ex-fiancé. And now, bear with me, some of the effects of the goblin formula make me a little, whatever. But, well, I wanted you to feel the kind of pain and loss that I was talking about. So, I had her car run off the road.
The doctor lunges forward, grabbing the goblin by the collar. You did what?
Relax, the goblin coos. Relax. She's fine. Just a little banged up. Mostly. The doctors gave her a blood transfusion, and she's expected to make a full recovery. Which is why I then infected her blood with a deadly virus!
Memories are like people. You never know which ones are going to show up, or how long they're going to stay. One of the few times Mary Alice and Otto bickered was over the theory of memories. She believed memories took up a duration of time, whereas Otto said they took up only a geographical space, a point on the cerebral cortex no bigger than the head of a pin, he surmised. Only, he may have been wrong. Wrong about a lot of things. Because the time it took to process what the goblin had done to this innocent woman and for reality to hit felt like a lifetime. Norman Osborn was believed to be dead, and Otto wishes that was the case. He wanted it to be painful. He wanted the goblin to feel it. The doctor bellows out in rage, backhanding the goblin before his extra appendages jettison out once again from behind his back and tackle the goblin through the nearby wall. The goblin attempts to go on the defense, but his arms and legs are pinned down by the mechanical cables. The doctor declares that the goblin's cheap tricks won't help him here, and he approaches his soon-to-be prey. The goblin once confessed to the doctor that when he died, it was from a chest wound. And since the doctor wanted him to die all over again, that is where he strikes. And strikes. And strikes. And strikes. The more the doctor pounded, the more he realized he wasn't trying to destroy the goblin's heart. And strikes. He was trying to destroy his own. And strikes. Stop it from feeling. And strikes. From caring. And strikes. From beating. And strikes. Because the doctor knew he had brought this horror on himself by doing business with the devil. And strikes. But it wasn't working. And strikes. In fact, the more the doctor hit the goblin, the more he was proving his point. That while the goblin was the one taking the physical beating and strikes, the doctor was the one who would never recover. Because that was the goblin's plan the whole time. Quite possibly, even from the beginning. Played out with the coldest of calculations, right down to knowing that the doctor's reaction would attract the attention the goblin needed. And, as a result, the last words the doctor ever said to the woman he had ever loved were barely words at all. And his exit, hardly a farewell. It was Otto's insistence that science alone was enough to kill Spider-Man that drove Norman to create this nightmare. So, of course he believed science alone would wake him from it. Otto swore that he would work tirelessly to find a cure for Mary Alice, letting nothing stand in his way. Not the police, not Spider-Man, not nature itself. It seems cartoonish now. A genius mind screaming at nature, attempting to defy the gods. But the truth is that he wasn't the brilliant scientist he is today. So he failed. Otto couldn't help but feel responsible for Mary Alice. Even though he hadn't seen her in years, the poor woman couldn't escape the curse of knowing him. He would have given anything to switch places with her, even contemplated ending his own life as punishment for what he had caused. But that would have left no one to fulfill what truly needed to be accomplished: the death of the Green Goblin.